So diet and aging, and how do we need to change our diet as we age? Because we seem to have to change everything as we age. Our activities, our choices in life change, and so it would make a lot of sense that our diet also has to change. In what way do we need to change our diet? Well, we need to recognize that we cannot get away with all the things that we did when we were younger, and that overeating can be a serious problem for older people. The reason for that is that when you eat, you need to send those little pieces of sugar and whatever else it is that's in your diet that is going to make energy for you. Our cells have fewer mitochondria to metabolize the cells, these nutrients with. And as a result, sorbitol can accumulate. Sorbitol is an end result of the metabolism when you're eating too much, and it accumulates and it causes swelling, edema. And you have to go through a period of fasting in order to get rid of that. And so I always tell people who believe in intermittent fasting that I'm glad you feel better when you're fasting, but what it's telling you is that your food is poisoning you. So not eating the food makes you feel better. Well, you need to take care of the food. The fasting is just a means for you to find out you're not eating well. It's the diet you have to change. And so what's in the diet that can be problematic? Well, the number one thing is protein. And this is contradictory to what you may have heard everywhere else, but if your body is healthy, you don't need an ounce of protein in your diet. The intestinal bacteria will convert the sugar and the carbs and everything else that's in your diet to all of the protein that you need. What you need is to make sure that the intestinal bacteria are healthy. And what really gets your intestinal bacteria and gets them to make the wrong things or not make the things that you do need is Roundup. So if you make sure that the food that you're eating has not been treated with Roundup, and that means the GMO foods and all the products that say non-GMO. Non-GMO basically means that they started with a seed that didn't have GMO, but they doused it with Roundup right before they harvested it to increase the yield. So those products you want to stay away from because they will interfere with your ability to make protein and they will make you more hungry. Things that build up in older people that are problematic as a result of eating too much protein can be blood urea nitrogen, and it can be ammonia. Ammonia is a direct toxin to the nerves and to the brain. So that's why it's important to have a low protein diet as you get older. You also want to stay away from foods that are very dry and dehydrated. Meats would be one great example. And you want to have more of that fluid in the food that you're eating so that it doesn't end up sitting in your stomach for a long time and giving you heartburn. You also want to make sure you drink fluid before you eat your meal so that your intestines, your esophagus, your stomach are well hydrated. They can pass the food easily, and then the food doesn't have to sit there for a long time in your stomach before it can get hydrated and get passed on through. And important to make sure you don't drink your liquids with your meal or for at least an hour or two after your meals, because that'll also make the food in your stomach swell up and stay there for a long time and again give you heartburn. And also avoid drinking for an hour at least before you go to bed.